Hi, ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing? Alright, this is how to solve error code 0xc0000001. And what this is a nasty Trojan worm type. I almost want to say it's probably implanted into your computer as a last resort kill code. I've seen this on Windows 7, and I've seen this on Windows 8. My Sony Vaio laptop had this, and after about 3 weeks of trying different things, I was able to get it solved without a restore disk, because Windows 7 had functions that Windows 8 does not. And what you actually have to do, ladies and gentlemen, if you want this thing off your computer tomorrow, you're going to have to go out and probably purchase a restore disk for your computer. Your Windows disk is only going to take you so far. All those $10 and $20 Windows repair disks online don't work. And I'm going to go into the Y factors in a little bit. Because what this basically does to your computer is it denies you access to all of your accounts. When I say accounts, I mean everything from your admin to your everyday personal accounts. I've seen this in Windows 7, and I've seen this in Windows 8. I have yet to see it for Windows 10 yet, but I imagine because 10 is built on 8 and 8 is built on 7, the same situation exists. And this is a nasty virus, Trojan worm, whatever you want to call it. Like I said before in my last video, when I introed this code almost has to be from a government source. Now, it's probably written in Windows as, the last resort, but this is by all means the all-kill order for your PC. And what this is unfortunately, it is in your Windows System 32 WinLoad EFI file. And this is error code 0xc0000001. That is 6 zeros and a 1. And nothing you really do solves this. You can run all your restore functions via F10 or F11. They don't do anything because once this code detects that you're actually using those functions to restore your Windows or restore back to a time when this code did not exist, it goes through a lot of the functions, and it might even work for hours on end, folks. And you might think, good, it's going to work. And then you go and you reload everything, and the virus still shows up because it's still on your computer. And basically what this does is it gets you to a point where your recovery options become the only thing you can do. And it doesn't matter. I went through probably 3 weeks worth of trying to find a way to solve this in Windows 7 and about another week in Windows 8. The solution I found in Windows 7 worked because it allowed me a function where I could turn off some enforcement code, and it allowed it to auto boot into my admin. And that was a trick. Unfortunately, that was never 100%. You always had to restart your computer. But I was able to get to the main account and get to a point where it was working. And as long as it booted up fine, I had access to the internet, I had access to my files, I had access to everything in my main account. And everything was good. And I could load everything. Windows 8, I did not have this option, and so I had to, and still have to, buy the restore disk for my computer, which will run you about $75. Unfortunately, if you let it go on your Windows 7, I think you still have to buy your restore disk because my computer gradually got worse. And I'm going to go through this, but I'm going to tell you, folks, don't sit there and edit your registries. Don't sit there and do the constant coding through command prompt, which I'm going to go through. It's a lot easier if you just go out and buy a new disk. Now, the rest of this is the reasoning why, and hopefully if I show you this, you can find your own way to find a loophole to where you can delete this from your system. And I feel very strongly about this because this took not only one of my computers, but two. And it almost seemed like I was on the internet, everything was fine, I shut down my computer, and the following day or two came by, and this is what showed up. This blue screen in the background is exactly it. It's a recovery. It's under File, Windows System 32, WinLoad EFI, and it says you'll need to use the recovery tools on your installation media. If you don't have any installation media, like a disk or device, contact your system administration or PC manufacturer, and that is exactly what you're going to have to do, folks. I was able to get this down to where my Windows 7 was usable, and I will walk you through that. Well, actually, I'll talk you through that. But basically, that function is just to disable your enforcement protection on your Windows 7, and I will show you a screen for that, and that'll be under your F10 or F11 keys in your when you bring it up. When you bring your F10, F11 restore function up, it'll be in there to disable that, and it will be able to boot past this and get you to your main load screen, and you'll be able to select your account. Windows 8, you do not have this option. I've tried. And you will be screwed. And you will have to spend $75 or go out and buy a $200 new computer. It's just what you're going to have to do, folks. There's no other way around it. And I know you're going to say, oh, hurry up, man. I got stuff to do. I can't have this on my computer. Oh, no. Well, then you better get on eBay and you better call your computer manufacturer and you better get your disk, because it's going to take you probably better part of 3 days. And if you go down to a computer restore place, it's going to be $75 to $120 out the door regardless. So this is the main screen I want to bring up here, folks. So let me just kind of bring this out for you. This is what you're going to see on your laptop. It's going to say recovery. Your PC couldn't turn off properly. The application or operating system couldn't be loaded because a required file is missing or contains errors. File : /Windows /System32 /WinLoad.efi error code 0xc0000001. You'll need to use the recovery tools on your installation media. If you do not have any installation media, like a disk or a USB device, contact your system administrator or PC manufacturer. Press Enter to try again. Press F8 for startup settings. Press Escape for UEFI firmware settings. What you want here, folks, I believe, is your F8 in your startup settings. I could be wrong, but if you're running for Windows 7, you're probably screwed, or you're probably not as screwed, but Windows 8, just go out and buy yourself a disk. I'm going to show you why in a few minutes, but it ain't going to do much good. Because every time you go into your command prompt and you try to run your scan now, your check disk, your defrag, anytime you try to set up a new account through your Windows command prompt, it's going to come up with the same situation. And I've done this, folks. This is what your internet sources tell you to do. I booted up off a USB drive and ran the sfc/scan now at the command prompt. I received the message, there is a system repair pending, which requires reboot to complete restored Windows and run SFC again. Rebooting does not change the situation. It's not going to, because this thing is devised in such a way, ladies and gentlemen, where none of your restore options are going to work. And if they work, this thing is still going to be your main, on your main hard drive. This thing is not going to go away. When you restore it back to factory load, this thing is going to still be there. You can restore it back to the first restore point you have on your computer. This is going to be on there. This thing takes precedent over everything you have. It is literally a kill-all virus for your PC. I don't know if this is still in Mac, but this is in PCs for Windows 7, Windows 8, and I almost imagine it would be for Windows 10 because of what it is. And what really makes me mad and angry, folks, is that when you actually go into your accounts and try to load, and you think you got everything right, this shows up with a sad smiley face. Your PC ran into a problem and needs to restart. We're just collecting some error info. And then you can restart. 100% complete. If you'd like to know more, you can search online later for this error. Registry error. So it doesn't matter, folks, because this thing is a horrible, horrible, horrible virus. Alright, it said that scan now, right? Let's try it. So I went there, and I did my SFC scan now. Beginning system scan. This process will take some time. Beginning verification phase of your system scan. Verification 100% complete. Windows Resource Protection found corrupt files, but was unable to fix some of them. Details include in the, I think it's CBS log, windir/log/cbs/cbs.logs. For example, c:\windows/log/cbs/cbs.log. Note that logging is currently not supported in offline servicing service or screen, whatever that last word is. This is going to happen, folks. I don't care if you do your check disk. I don't care if you do your defrag here. I was coding pages trying to get around this stupid virus. And it doesn't do you any good. You think you have it beat. It might even get you to your main account without any problems, and you're feeling good. You ran your restore function to the point in time at which, this did not exist. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was the first save. Heck, you might have even gone in and opened your command prompt and loaded your what's it called? Your safe mode, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you can get to your safe mode through Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 10, you're probably decent, but you're not going to be able to run internet because it doesn't allow. This virus does not allow you to run internet. This virus does not allow you to run internet in safe mode, ladies and gentlemen. So, it's actually very, very unhappy, and I want to show you this. So I really want to give you a comprehensive overview of this horrible, horrible, horrible virus as to what it actually is and what it actually is not. So, what I want to do, folks, very easily is to ease you into it, because there really isn't a whole lot of options. I mean, I'm just going to take you through some of the pages that you'll go through, and nothing's going to really work. Doesn't matter what you do, ladies and gentlemen. This is a kill order on your computer. The only thing you can do realistically is go out and get that CD. When you get the CD or the media, you can actually get your computer up and running and start it from scratch via that CD. But getting a Windows driver CD or any of the $10, $20, $40 fixes is not going to work. I was able to get my Windows 7 to work for a little bit by disabling that enforcement code, but you are not going to be able to get to that point in Windows 8 because that option does not lead you to the same area. So what I want to do is I want to show you what's actually going on here, and I want to take you back over here be told to code to open an account through safe mode through command prompt. You're going to think it's nice and glamorous, and you're going to go all the way through 6 or 7 of these, and you're going to come up with the same solution I did. You got to go out and buy that, that $75 disc, that $125 disc. It's just going to happen. You're just going to have to come to those terms, and you're going to have to realize it. And it's going to really suck. But you are going to have to do this. And this is going to be one of those things that you're going to have to do. And I'm going to walk you through recovery options versus boot options and everything else, hopefully. And show you why that enforcement got me through on Windows 7 and not on the rest of these. Because there is something different, and it does have to do with this situation. And I'm just going to quickly show you the screens and everything. And if you're not familiar how to do this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to show you how because it just gets too complicated. What I am going to do is I am going to show you the how factors and what to really look into. Because what you're going to have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is you're going to have to get it to a point where you can open it in, where you're going to have to be able to get to this recovery screen, whether it's 8, whether it's 7, whether it's 10. I believe it's an F10 or F11 on some computers. And you're going to have to fight like crazy to get to this restore screen. And you're going to basically have to do this. And what you're going to basically find is, click here to fix Windows errors and optimize system performance. You're going to see all this update and recovery for Windows 8.1 or 8.0. And this is going to walk you through how to do this. It's going to show you how to do your history. Don't do any of this, but basically just how to get to your recovery and do all this stuff. It's going to tell you whether or not to refresh your PC, reinstall or reset PC, advanced startup. None of this stuff is going to work, folks. I've done all this. This stuff does not work. That's why I'm not even going to bother to spend a lot of time on it. Because none of this stuff really works. Because this is a kill-all order. Aha, here we go. Windows 7. This is the most favorite here. Now, this is for Windows 7. When you get here, you go to your advanced boot options. And this is basically where I spent about 3 weeks of my time, folks. Advanced boot options, repair your computer. Safe mode with networking, safe mode with command prompt. You're going to always probably want this because you're going to want the availability to use command prompt. Now, you're going to ask me which one of these is what I did to get through Windows 7. Well, truth be it, folks, It was this one right here. Disable driver signature enforcement. Unfortunately, I did a lot of things in the background to make that available. You can enable boot logging, doesn't do nothing. Well, actually, yeah, it enables boot logging, and that just doesn't do a whole lot for you because it doesn't really do anything for you. Last known good configuration is just going to take you back to the blue smiley screen. Hang on, the blue smiley screen is here. And it ain't going to do anything for you. So if you got Windows 7, this is what you're going to want to do. And that'll bring you back to your main account screen. You're going to be able to actually log in if you use your admin account when you're doing your command prompt and everything. And that's basically what you need for this. That's why I'm trying not to show you everything, because some of this is just going to have to be knowledge that you already have. And this is all the stuff you're going to see in between. You know, it's going to tell you to do all this stuff and all this other stuff. And this right here is just information. This is not stuff you're going to have to do. But it's just going to walk you through different things. Options you're going to have, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, is going to be to get your restore disk. Every single PC is going to have some other maker and everything. And I'm going to walk through this, so don't get gypped, because I feel strongly about this. Alright, this is by Acer. You call if your computer is Acer, if it's Gateway, if it's any number of other ones, you're going to contact that computer company, and you're going to get, say, your model number for your laptop or your desktop, and you are going to get that disk. Okay, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to have some kind of your computer logo name at the top, and it's going to have, you know, install and restore options or something like that, and it's going to cost you about $75. And it says here, free Acer recovery disk download. I don't know about that, folks. What I know is that nothing is free, and you should always be wary of things that say they are free. So don't believe that it's free when it actually isn't. Here's an Asus model here. System recovery disk, if your computer's Asus. But don't just pick these out, because every single computer has a different driver set and everything else. And it's not going to work. You need to contact your manufacturer. You need to give them the model number of your computer. And you need to tell them you need the original reinstall disk and the original with factory settings and everything else. It's going to run you about $75. Some might be less, some might be unfortunately more. I think the one quote for my laptop, for my Sony Vaio laptop, even though it's a common laptop, was like $125. That's why I haven't gotten it yet. So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like if you have Acer, if you have Asus. Do not do these. Do not do these $10 internet patches from eBay. These things don't work. The only thing this does is it'll update your drivers on your computer. This does not install anything that you're going to use unless you absolutely know how to use it, and that's just $10, $20 you don't have to use. Do not use anything like this. I've spent my money on this stuff, folks. This cheap stuff that you're going to find are $20, $30. It's junk. It is, and it will be. Even if you go out and buy a Windows 7 disk, ladies and gentlemen, you are not going to find your files on that laptop. Or rather, your laptop files on that disk. That is just going to be a Windows 7 disk, or Windows 8, depending on what you're running. It's not going to help you. You are going to need your PC be like from Dell or from Acer, and you're going to have to contact that number from that company and say, I need to order my, reinstall disk for my computer. And it's going to run you about $75, if not more. I don't know if the older ones are cheaper, because my laptop's like 6 years old now, and it's still expensive. So what you're looking for when you do these, folks, is your install disks for your computer. You're going to contact your computer manufacturer, whether it be Acer, Asus, HP. There's going to be some kind of a service line you're going to have to call. You're going to probably have to be put on hold for at least a half hour, as they tend to monitor all calls and record everything for about 30 minutes before they even bother taking your call. Oddly enough, that's a censorship violation, but it is what it is, and that's what they do now. And then you're going to have to speak to somebody, and you're going to say, look, I have a model number, whatever your laptop is, whatever your PC is, and you need your reinstall disk for that. The one that comes with the computer. And they're going to say, right, but it's going to be about a 2-week wait. And that's what you're going to have to wait for. And that's going to be it, folks. That is what you're going to have to buy. Now, I'm not holding this because this one is mine. This is not mine. I do not know what this is, besides it saying Acer. I cannot read this, nor this from my mini screen that I have up. It's probably not even a disk for a PC, but you are going to need yours for your number, and your number on your computer is probably going to be something like this at the top. It's going to say System Recovery Disk, and it's going to have your PC brand up here. Do not buy this junk. Do not buy any of the $10 fix-ups like this or this. Trust me, I've done it. It doesn't do anything for you. Even if you purchase the Windows disk in and of itself, it isn't going to have your files for your computer, so you're going to waste your time on a $70 Windows disk that you cannot use because it does not have your files for your computer. Oh, yeah, fine, you're going to be able to do Windows, fine. You might even be able to get your computer up and running. But all your drivers for your computer are going to be on your driver disk, which is going to be another $70 you're going to have to run. So it's up to you how much you want to spend, folks. But you need to get your disk from your computer manufacturer. And that's all there is to it, folks. You can do anything you want. Whether it's Windows 7, Windows 8, or possibly Windows 10, you're going to need your disk for your computer from your computer's manufacturer. It's going to cost you about $75. There's probably going to be a 2-week wait on shipping, and more than likely it's probably going to be a late. So you're not going to receive it in the first week. You're not going to receive it overnight, probably, but who knows? There might be an option where the warehouse is down the street, or a state or two over, and you can give your credit card info over the phone if you feel comfortable doing that, and you're going to be able to run it and be fine. Like I said, I've gotten Windows 7 to work for a while. It wasn't a complete fix. There were a lot of options and a lot of problems that I had to get to that point. This is not fun. This is not, let's, see how many pages of command prompt through miscellaneous screens we can get to. All right? There's only one real option. That option, ladies and gentlemen, has been and always will be your computer's storage that you will get from your computer manufacturer, which you will have to call and tell them what computer model you have, and you'll have to find that on your own. You'll find somebody who's tech savvy who will be able to tell you what that is on your own, and you are going to have to get that disk. It's going to suck. It's going to cost all the options, or get somebody tech savvy and be able to, I would say probably 5, depending on how your computer is. And ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter what computer you have, whether it's a Mac, whether it's a PC, whether it's some quantum computer 7,000 years in the future. You're going to need that backup drive that originally was filed onto your computer, and you're going to need that to restore any major function. I mean, there's very little you can do unless it's a hardware issue where, you know, your fan breaks or you have a monitor issue that you're not going to need, at least at some point, your actual restore disk. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sometimes your restore functions and your recovery options do work on your computer. Great. 99% of the time, I've found them to work at least somewhat well. You can go back and forth and use your CC cleaner all you want if you can actually access your files. But through this horrible virus here, this horrible Trojan, .0xc00001, you are not going to have that option. You are going to need that disk. It's not going to be an option, folks. That's my kitty in the background. He's in a playful mood. But anyways, folks, this is how you solve error code 0xc0000001. This is the kill code for all PCs and probably Macs at some specific level. And I found this on Windows 7, Windows 8, and it's probably in Windows 10. And there's only one specific way to solve this code. You can go in there and you know, do all you want to your registry, all you want, folks. But in the end, folks, you can't access your accounts. So you're going to be doing things, and then it's going to go back to basic on you. You can do all the recovery options you want, all the restore functions you want. You can go online for all the tech ideas you want, ladies and gentlemen. But in the end, you're going to come back to a screen that looks like this. And it's going to boot. And from that boot, it's going to show you this screen here. Whether it's Windows 7, whether it's Windows 8, whether it's Windows 10 or similar. It's going to come back to something like this. And this is telling you exactly on the bottom what you need to do. Because this is a kill order on your computer. You got this probably from some kind of government Trojan. I'm not going to go and lie about it. This is a complete kill order for your computer. This wasn't you were looking at some, you know, some happy videos of you and your wife and all of a sudden your computer shut down. Or you were looking at some, you know, bikini scene in some hot, lustrous movie that you happen to come across on the internet. Unless it was something very, very naughty you should not be looking at. And the only way I came to this, ladies and gentlemen, is my computer was acting up. A whole bunch of things were happening. I shut down my computer, which is almost always a bad thing for you to do. If you ever think your computer has this or anything else, you need to run all your CC cleaners, all your antivirus, all your malware or anti-malware. Run defrag. Do not shut your computer down if you think for any moment or any reason that your computer has any virus on it. It will be bad. Because at that point, it boots to the login screen where that virus is present, where that Trojan now has authority over your computer. It's one stupid little code, folks. And there's probably a simple way, if you can get into your accounts, to go in there and double jump this file. But I'm going to tell you what. You can go and you can get your restore disk. Contact your PC manufacturer, Acer, HP, whoever it is. Contact the number, the support line. Tell them you need to order a disk, a reinstall disk for your model number, and that's it. That is your solve. That is your go back to perfect. That is all you can do. I'm certain there's 100 other things you can do, but I went through codes, folks, of making new accounts on both my Windows 7, Windows 8. I used my admin functions. I did everything, folks. I spent 3 weeks on my Windows 7 laptop just getting it to a point where I could get that enforcement to work where it wouldn't jump to that blue screen. And it did for a while, and then my computer completely crashed. So, if you want to save yourself time and money, folks, go out and get your disk via your computer manufacturer, via their 800 line or their support line. Tell them you need to order your disk, your reinstall disk, for your model number. Give them your model number if you don't know how to find that. Get somebody who's tech savvy to do that and make that phone call for you, and give them the authority to use your credit card. While doing this, you can be right in the room. It's totally fine. And let them get you this disk and let them put this on your computer. Now, I'm showing you an Acer or an Asus. This is not yours. Because I've worked on this on 2 different computers. One was up and running within 3-4 weeks, and the other one is still down and out. And I had it up running about a week ago. And guess what still showed up? And this. And I've had it shut down and unplugged for more than, I would say, 2-3 months. At least since New Year's. So this is MR How to Tech, and this is a video on how to solve error code 0xc0000001. And there is only one viable option, folks. That's to get your restore disk for your computer. And most of the time nowadays, from what I understand, you gotta order it from the internet. You may or may not have a downloadable option. I bought this computer that I'm currently using, and I did have an option. I may or may not have actually downloaded it. I have a USB around here somewhere, and I guarantee you my file on that is not probably going to work when I need it, so I will probably have to stop what I'm doing, find my company, or the company of my computer, find its 800 number and its customer service line number, find out how to order the restore disk or reinstall disk, however you want to put it, folks, for your model number of your computer, whether it be a desktop or a laptop, tablet, etc., depending on what your crazy situation is. I've yet to see this on a tablet, but on your PC or on your laptop or your desktop or your media, because my computer is a media center upstairs, and that one is still down. My laptop was a Windows 7, and I was able to show you how to disable that and get it up and running. I can't guarantee that's going to work. What I can guarantee will work beyond any reasonable, if you want it to work within about a week or 2. As soon as that restore disk comes in after you've ordered it, put it up and install it. That's the only thing that I can guarantee you right now will work. I'm not going to code anything in the background for Windows for you, because I've done things like that before, folks, and my computer has yet to work again. You want a simple solution? I just gave it to you. Thank you.